Born and raised in the motherland, chasing a better life. Story of an immigrant.
Concrete pastures.
Concrete pastures.
What lotion I use? Oh, I use sunscreen. Oh, so can you use this Vaseline? Can you use the glycerin? Oh, no, I can't. It's because sunscreen is more than just my lotion. It's my medication. Well, SPF is tested using the spectrophotometer by a polymethyl methacrylate plate. And there she comes. She's making lotion. She's making sunscreen. What's the point? But it did hit me. It touched me for some point. But I just said, okay, I'll continue. I know the goal I want to achieve. I know where I want to land up. So yeah, people have been using these chemical sunscreens, but mine has a completely organic composition. I didn't add the titanium dioxide, neither did I add the zinc oxide, but it's all organic.
Hello, family. Welcome to Concrete Pastures. Today, we have a special, inspiring guest joining us. Her name is Mwape Chimpampa, and she is a remarkable, our youngest guest yet. She is a 15-year-old secondary school student from Zambia, driven by personal loss, and has taken a challenge of creating an affordable sunscreen specifically for the people with albinism. After losing her father to skin cancer, in 2017, Mwape recognized the urgent need for accessible sun protection, especially for those with lower income communities. Again, Masa reminds you she is only 15 years old. Her dedication to this cause not only honors her father's memory, but also highlights the importance of advocacy work being done by individuals like Muluka-Anne Miti Drummond, the UN independent expert on albinism, who is pushing the sunscreen to be included in the WHO's list of essential medicine. Join us today as we dive into Mwape's inspiring journey, her vision for a brighter future for those living with albinism. I want to thank a few people before we get started. Mama Kimi, who sent me the BBC article, and also John Chitty, who was able to connect me to our guest today. Hi, Mwape, how are you?
I'm okay, thank you. How are you?
Oh my gosh, I'm super excited. You're so young, yet doing amazing and phenomenal things already around the world. So,
Thank you.
no, not a problem, not a problem. I just wanna I just want us to for you to give us like what it's like, what has been like growing up with albinism in Zambia, just so we can get a bit understanding of who you are.
So I'm Mwape Chimpampa, as you earlier mentioned, 15 years old, and growing up in Zambia. Okay, it has its own rough here and there. Well, Zambia itself, with line with my product, really has hot temperatures from time to time, especially due to climate change. We see the global warming and things like that. Last year we had a terrible drought and it became extremely hot. So yeah, it has been quite difficult in here and there, especially when it comes to sunscreen. I remember when when 1 month we didn't have sunscreen in Kafue, which is the area that I live in. You find at the hospitals there was no stock of sunscreen, so it was very hard to access the product. And yeah, just the environment itself has been quite harsh. Though we do have favorable seasons from time to time, but mainly Africa, it's not a big hot continent.
Yeah, no, amazing, amazing. I mean, when I read your story, on the in the article, you mentioned your father. Your father was the inspiration behind you creating the sunscreen. Um, how is that?
Well, my father, Hencho Chimpampa, had albinism like myself, but he grew up in a family that could not afford this expensive product. It was very expensive and it's still very expensive. So it was hard for his family to have it, for him to access the product. And as he grew older, he ended up getting skin cancer, which later led to his death in 2017.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that.
Mhm.
So you get inspired by your dad to create the sunscreen. What was the first product that came to mind? Because I remember when I spoke to Mr. John Titi, he said there's places where people with albinism can go and pay, and I guess get sunscreen, but sometimes it's not the right sunscreen.
Yeah, that's very true. In fact, I've noticed that sunscreen isn't readily available like always. Like as I
Mm,
mentioned earlier, during the time of the drought, sunscreen went out of stock because you see we have a lot of people with albinism in the area. So
mm,
all of them are flocking to the hospitals trying to access sunscreen.
mm.
Eventually we ran out of it. So now what do? We are out of sunscreen and it's that hot time of the year. So yeah, it has been quite difficult for people to access the product itself. And yeah, there are different brands that we do receive as a country, but we don't produce sunscreen locally. So we have to import it from other different countries, which makes the price increase as it comes into the nation. So when the country accesses the sunscreen lotion, it becomes too expensive for those from vulnerable families to afford it. So
Mm,
there may be different brands, but not all of them are accessible. And those which are cheaper, in most cases, they don't really do the job of a sunscreen lotion. You may
mm.
find the SPF has been placed there, but that's not the actual effect it has. Instead, it may have terrible reactions on the skin. In fact, I do see common brands being sold in the markets, very cheap prices, but not so effective.
So what makes your sunscreen different?
Or mine is organic, completely organic, in fact. People have been using these chemical sunscreens, and chemical sunscreens, well, some may claim to be organic. But if you check the ingredients composition, they usually contain titanium dioxide or zinc oxide, which are the two main ingredients to produce the sun protection factor, or the SPF, which is the number that determines the strength and effectiveness of a sunscreen lotion. But mine has a completely organic composition. I didn't add the titanium dioxide, neither did I add the zinc oxides, but it's all organic. So I produced the SPF without any use of a chemical. And mine has an SPF of 22.
Wow. I mean, I'm trying to remember my science class right now. I can't even comprehend what you're saying, but okay, I'm learning. I mean, it's what are the ingredients of your sunscreen,
So
if
I
you don't
use
mind
banana.
sharing?
Yeah, I use banana, turmeric, milk, and eggs.
Just those three?
Yeah, but I also added some aloe vera and some spices, which I would rather just keep hidden.
Wow. No, that's impressive because I did see when I was reading the article that there was banana in it, and I'm just like, wow, okay, what does the banana mean? It's good for the inside for potassium, but on the skin, are you using the actual banana or are you using the cover itself, or is it everything? Are you using everything?
On that one, I used it according to the property itself. Actually, I did want the potassium, so the inside was important, and the other compounds like the polyphenol, yeah, for the SPF to be generated, and others.
Okay. I mean, people who are listening to us and watching us will be wondering, how did you go about the testing of the product to make sure that it was effective and safe for everybody's skin?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, currently in Zambia, we don't produce sunscreen, meaning neither do we have the machinery needed for the sunscreen. So I
Mm,
had to also find a way to test the SPF I earlier mentioned. Well, SPF is tested using the spectrophotometer by a polymethyl methacrylate plate, which we do not have in the country. So we don't have any of those things. But I remember when I was younger, I would watch adverts on TV where people would use leaves to show how the product is effective. Like I would see the glycerin being tested there, and they're showing the leaf, comparing a dry leaf and the leaf with the glycerin and the different properties that they have. And they're like, okay, so a leaf can work. So I tried using the leaf. First, I had to make sure that it would work. So I used a product which has already been tested with those apparatus.
uh-huh.
So I used a sunscreen with SPF 30 first, a chemical sunscreen. I got a clean leaf, put in the sun without any product, any protection onto it. Then the leaf got burnt within, was it an hour? So if I remember correctly, an hour or close to an hour.
Uh-huh.
That was a very hot time of the year. Then when I put it in the sun with the sunscreen onto it, it got burnt after almost 30 plus actually. So that means the 1 into the 30, that's how we get the SPF 30. Meaning that test was effective. So instead of me using the plate I mentioned earlier, the polymethyl methacrylate plate, I'll use a leaf instead. So since I saw that it worked for the chemical sunscreen, meaning that the same test can be used to test my organic sunscreen. So I got a clean leaf, did the same process by adding my sunscreen onto the leaf afterwards, and it burnt after about 22 hours. So that means when I divide the 1 into the 22, and I get SPF 22.
My mind is blown. Okay. I'm trying to follow you. I'm like, oh my God, okay, we have leaves. Like, what type of leaves? What do you even know? Like, which proper leaves? I know we have many trees, but
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So that's how I have to make sure that they have the same type of leaf. Like if I say I'm going to get a leaf from a mango tree today, to
uh-huh.
test the leaf without the sunscreen onto it, mean that when I'm going to use the sunscreen, I should use a same mango leaf from the same tree. So I conduct the same process, the same type of leaf.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Super impressive, like really, really impressive. How have the people in your community responded to your initiative, and what kind of feedback have you received?
Honestly, that question has I haven't really received it in interviews before, so it has been the first time for me to reveal it in this manner.
Uh-huh.
Let me say it was sort of mixed feelings from different people.
Oh,
The way my classmates would respond is not the way my teachers would respond, so it varied from different people. Let
oh,
me say my patron, they were very supportive. In fact, my school administration has done a huge job into helping me get this far. I've
mm,
received support from people like ZRDC, the Zambia Research and Development Center, and different industries or different communities which have come on board. Yet, let me say from behind back there, uh, my friends themselves, not everyone responded favorably. It has been inspiring to see that for me because it has motivated me. I learned a valuable lesson and not to give up on my own dream because I remember some people will be like, okay, people are making robots and apps, and there she comes, she's making lotion, she's making sunscreen. What's the point? But it did hit me, it touched me for some point, but I just said, okay, I'll continue. I know the goal I want to achieve. I know where I want to land up. So yeah, it has been mixed feelings, but I learned to accept all of them and use them to boost me.
oh, beautiful, beautiful. Listen, um, in anything that you do, you're always going to have mixed feelings, and some mixed feelings will help you improve in whatever you're doing. And the positive just encourages you that you are, doing something right for the community. And I can tell you from my end and looking at things, you are truly doing something right. The fact that you are being recognized around the world, because being on BBC, that is a lot. That is a great recognition. So you're always going to have negative people saying other things because they see things differently. Um, but hey, we all can be making robots. We all can be making apps. So we need people like you who think outside the box and like doing something that's gonna, help our community. So when you made the sunscreen, who did you have in mind for this sunscreen?
People with albinism. It has been a passion of mine. In fact, someone even asked me, "Oh, are you into skincare?" I said, "Yes, somehow I am into skincare, but I
Mm,
just have a passion for albinism. I have a passion of helping people with my condition, something I've understood from a very young age, something I've grew up learning about.
mm,
So, yes, I did have people with albinism in mind, especially myself, or let me say my sister. My sister, I have a younger sister who also has albinism, and also my father's story in mind. So, it kept pushing me until I reached where I am today.
yeah. Does your mom have albinism?
No, she doesn't.
Got it. No, the reason why I asked that because a lot of people just assume that only people who have albinism can have children with albinism, but it's anybody. It just comes in that way. So has anybody partnered up with you in terms of collaborating, or it's just you right now?
At the moment, I was added on the team, the Zambia Research and Development Center, their elite team of innovators. Well, that was last year, and also added again this year. So
Oh,
I was
lovely.
enterprise. Yeah, so this time I came in with something different though. Yeah. But yeah, they have been supporting me. In fact, when I had my first interview with BBC, I had it at their at the center, the actual center,
Mm.
ZRDC. So I have received support, their support mainly. So yes, someone is helping me.
So is can any of us use the sunscreen? Is it available for all of us to use?
Yes, it is. Well, I had people with albinism in mind. In fact, the first time I made the product, I just focused on those with albinism. Then it clicked to me and said, okay, anyone can get skin cancer. It's not only people with albinism, though we're
Yeah.
just like 1,000 times more likely to. So during my tests, I had to balance. I had two with albinism in the initial test. I had two with albinism, two light skinned, two dark skinned, and two who were just mid light skin, dark skin, just average, to make sure that it can work for um wide range of skin types. And so far, or I added more people eventually, about 15 more. This was from 8 to 15.
Hmm.
So when I added those 15 people, about 86% of my results were positive. As for the others, I assume it was just an allergic reaction, which we had not known at the time.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no,
Mhm.
I didn't even know because here, mostly we use sunscreen during summertime. It's summertime here. And
Oh,
they are very, yes, there are a few sunscreens that will not leave a white um, residue on some of like my skin tone. How is your sunscreen? Does it leave residue or is it clear to apply?
well, there are two types of sunscreen. There's
Mm,
one called chemical sunscreen and one called mineral sunscreen. When I talk of chemical sunscreen, it doesn't mean it contains chemicals. It's
mm,
just the way it works. So mineral sunscreen is the one that leaves the residue onto the skin. So it's like that residue itself is a layer added onto the skin, which allows the sun UV rays to bounce back. So it bounces off the skin. The chemical sunscreen, on the other hand, is absorbed. Mine is chemical, but has no chemicals. So
yeah.
it's absorbed by the skin. But I was trying to avoid the mineral. Yes, the mineral does work. Yet on certain people, especially those who have very wide or let me say average size of skin pores, it may be comedogenic, meaning to absorb the actual layer that's onto the skin and clog the pores. So when the pores are clogged, it means all the dirt and the
Yeah.
sweat is trapped on the inside and can
Mm-hmm.
cause reaction. So that's why I had to make sure that mine should have a chemical feature to prevent that reaction.
Impressive. Um, so what are the thoughts? What are thoughts on the current availability for the sunscreen for Zambians, for the people with albinism? Like, is it available right now, or do you have it? People can go somewhere and buy it. Where do you have it available right now?
Well, we have it both in hospitals and in shops. So people
Oh,
can buy it, and in some cases, people are prescribed to the hospital. Though at the hospital, it's let me say it's not so reliable. It's not as consistent as it would be in the shops. So sometimes you go to the hospital and they'll prescribe sunscreen. Oh, go get in the pharmacy. You go to the pharmacy and find there's no sunscreen in stock, meaning you have to go buy it for yourself. So
mm,
yes, and that's in the more urban areas. If you talk about the rural parts of the country, in fact, currently in Zambia, for example, let me use Zambia, we have over 21 million in population. And from these, we have nearly 30,000 with albinism, of which over
wow.
17,000 live in the rural parts of the country. So these over 17,000 people, have no access to sunscreen because in the rural areas of the country, sunscreen is not found. When sunscreen is imported, it stays in areas like Lusaka, which is a capital city. So sometimes you have to go there to access sunscreen lotion if you want quality sunscreen lotion. Otherwise, in smaller towns or in rural areas, you can't find the sunscreen or you can't find the best type of sunscreen. So sunscreen is somehow only 40% or 30% available to the public.
So, question then, if the majority are in the rural areas, what is you and your team doing about it? Are you guys going to rural areas distributing, or is it still just in the city?
There's both good news and bad news on that one. The
Okay.
good news is I have seen or heard of reports where people would go into the rural parts of the country and distribute sunscreen lotion and even educate people who have albinism about the condition and how
Mm,
they can protect themselves, even in times when they may not have the lotion with them. The sad news is that that's not done often. It's only periodic. Like recently, we had the International Albinism Awareness Day. So now that's a day for people with albinism, and you find people in the rural areas who would go distributing the sunscreen lotion because now it's a day to celebrate people with albinism. Now the day ends, and they are left with the sunscreen bottles, the 2 or 3 they have,
yeah,
and by the time they finish them, they have nothing left. So that's where the problem comes in.
got it. I mean, with all the challenges with having urbanism and then also challenges of finding the right sunscreen, what message would you like to convey to the policymakers regarding the needs of for the people with urbanism?
Well, sunscreen should be made available. In fact, I'm really supportive with the initiative of making sunscreen an essential medicine. It has actually resonated with me. It's something which has moved me to understand how important this thing is. Because the sunscreen is not essential, there's no importance or value attached to it. So
Mm-hmm.
to people, it's just a lotion. In fact, when I would receive questions sometimes of what lotion I use, oh, I use sunscreen. Oh, so can you use this Vaseline? Can you use the glycerin? No, no, I can't. It's because sunscreen is more than just my lotion. It's my medication. It's
Yeah.
important. I just can't do without it. So
Mm-hmm.
if sunscreen is not important, you find people in the rural areas, they have the Panadol, they have these medicines like Piriton, but where is the sunscreen? There's
Mm-hmm.
nothing for them. So if sunscreen is meant to be an important medication, it means that every hospital, every pharmacy you go to will have that sunscreen lotion available, and it will be easier for people to access it. So I think that's just the main thing I can advise or recommend for it to be added as an essential medicine.
I agree with that. What are your future plans for your sunscreen project? And do you have any other initiatives in mind?
At the moment, let me start with my future plans. Of course, so I want to dream big with this. I want to dream big with this, and it's just shouldn't end where I am. Currently, you find people who I'm around, those in cafe, they'll be like, "Oh, Mwape, please, I want some sunscreen. Mwape, I want sunscreen. I want sunscreen." So now it's just my area. What about those in other areas where they need the sunscreen the most? Because
Mhm.
here we have a hospital. Yes, the hospital has sunscreen from time to time. What about those who never have it?
Yeah.
So I wanted to go as far as possible, as far as for it to even reach those who haven't seen sunscreen in their lives. Those
Mm.
haven't had a chance to actually have the product and benefit from it. And it's quite sad when I see people with albinism who have burnt skin, who have cancer, and end up dying from that. So
Mm.
yeah, that's one of my big dreams for that. In fact, I even came with a brand. Hopefully, soon I can even have my own industry, a factory to produce this at a large scale for it to be supplied to as many people as possible, especially those with albinism and different skin conditions where people will need this product. And okay, I don't know if you want me to answer the other question too of
The
my next
future
initiative.
plans.
hmm My future plan, well, it's been commercialized, but my next initiative is to develop the product. Currently, I'm working on the shelf life. I want to improve it and possibly improve the SPF. when I was doing my research, I found out that it's actually very difficult to have a sunscreen above SPF 15 for with organic materials only. I've
Ah,
seen YouTube videos of people making organic sunscreen, but sadly they always add the zinc oxide. They always, and it was quite frustrating. Like, okay, now where do I get the zinc oxide? Now someone who can't even access zinc oxide. So mine had to have completely organic materials. But can I improve the SPF with an organic sunscreen, completely organic sunscreen? And even someone in the rural parts of the country can make it for themselves, something which they know and they are familiar with. And also, I'm trying to go away, branch off from the ordinary sunscreen we see. I also found that sunscreen at itself may be a bit harmful to already burnt skin. So that has posed a challenge because in Zambia, as I mentioned earlier, people with albinism, well, majority of them live in the rural areas. By the time sunscreen reaches them, it finds them with burnt skin. But
mm,
as I mentioned, sunscreen can be harmful because of the zinc oxide and the titanium dioxide it contains, especially the titanium one. It may damage the skin or even delay the healing process and result into skin cancer. So currently, I'm trying to work on one which can work with the skin which is already damaged. I have been successful though, though I haven't received that high SPF that I'm looking for, as high as I would expect. But I'm working on that.
that's amazing. And I
Mhm.
just love how you've done so much research and what could help continue the community. And you have your community like at the top of your cause. And I am positive all of these things will come to flourishing. Um, I have a lot of questions for you. So you, I mean, you are a 15-year-old and you're already an entrepreneur. How do you balance all of these responsibilities? And you're still a student. How do you balance all of these things? Because other kids are gonna look at you as like, okay, what's going on? Who are you really doing all of these things and going to school at the same time?
In fact, that has also been one reason why people have opposed me. They'll be like, "Oh no, she's not doing well." They think my product is a distraction for me. Meanwhile, it's actually not one. I've learned to like make my own timetable, so to speak. Most
Yeah,
times I
you
work on my
manage your
product.
time.
Yeah, I can say so. I usually work on it on the weekend. Unless in such instances where I have to do my research in the school library, for example. So it's like my study and my product are somehow connected. Let me
Yeah,
say part of my work was based on something I learned or some things I learned in my biology, my chemistry. So yeah, just put them all together and there I have it. So my product is my study in other ways. So I do them both.
amazing. I mean, time is something of not everybody knows how to manage it the right way. So people would look at you and say, "How do you manage? You're only 15." So thank you for sharing that. What advice do you have for other young people who want to make a difference in their communities?
I love that question. I really do. Um, let me okay, I this one phrase that I always use, I often use, though I'll say that for the end. I'll save it for the end. Let me first start with my own experience.
Mhm.
As I mentioned, the people going against me, in other words, or somehow they'd say, not everyone was in my support. And not everyone will be in your support. Not everyone will be happy with what you are doing. Not everyone can be proud of the initiative you're taking. But if you know what you want, then you know what you want. It's you, not the people. It's you. So yeah, make your goal your own goal, not
Mhm.
someone else's goal.
Yeah.
So focus on what you know you can achieve. You don't let anyone define your future. Don't place the key to your success in someone else's hand. Don't
Mm.
allow them to have access to that door. So it's your door. Open it and take the initiative to do so. Don't let someone decide for you. And getting back to my favorite phrase, it's about your spirit as you go on with your initiative. don't have the mind of saying I wish, rather say I will. Instead of you saying, how I wish this problem had a solution, you can say, I will give this problem a solution. That way, a challenge you have is your staircase to rising to success.
Beautifully said. I love everything you've said. It's so inspirational. It's so encouraging. And I love that don't place your key in someone else's hand. Open your door. Oh my goodness. No, I love it, love it, love it. How has this journey changed you personally?
I have really boosted my self confidence. Well, I have received, let me say, when I first did my presentation, it's
Mm,
something where when the judges come by my table, I'm already shaking and wondering, what am I going to say? But then I've seen how my little words have moved me this far. And I say, okay, I have potential. I have albinism, but I have potential. Disability is not inability because it gives you the ability to work with a disability. Yeah, it has enabled me. Like what I thought was a disadvantage has proved to be my advantage. One person actually said to me, or one of my neighbors, he approached me and said, if you weren't unique. What he meant was, what if I wasn't unique? What if I didn't have albinism? Would
mm,
this have come to my mind? Would I have thought of this? Would I have worked as much as I did for me to reach this school? Obviously not. But I've used what I thought was bad to my advantage. I've made the negative a positive, in other words. So, yeah, that has really inspired me. That has moved me, and it has really helped me to become who I am today. In fact, I think it's one of the things that defines me. I've really become more confident in my potential and trust in my ability.
listen, it's evident, even the way you're carrying yourself and the outlook on life is just impressive. As young as you are, not everybody can get to the point where you are because it's easy to dwell on the negative. Um, Having said that, what would you think your father would say about what you did today?
I've always wondered that. I've always wondered that. In fact, I've wondered that a lot. But hmm, I hope I'll find out someday. Hopefully, I will find out someday. But I'm sure he'll be very proud of this. Honestly, I think his death has also helped me. Let me say, him dying was so bad, it hit me hard. I
Mm,
was very young, though. I was very young, but I did feel the effect of his death. I did feel the effect of losing my father figure. And yeah, it has been hard,
mm,
but I didn't let that stop me. And I'm sure he'll be very happy to see that I haven't let a problem be my downfall. I haven't let a problem be the end of my road, to be a roadblock, to make me say no to what I can do. But I've allowed it to shape me. I've allowed it to groom me and make me grow to who I am.
lovely.
Mhm.
What does your mom think?
My mom is actually very happy with this. Very supportive woman. She has really helped me to continue developing it. She's encouraging me and helping me balance as well. Yeah, let me say my crutch on both sides.
Nice.
Yeah,
Listen, we all want that support from our parents, especially our family. It's important, and it gives us that motivation to continue to carry on. And what do you wish people, like more people, understood about living with albinism?
in fact, it's like you're just getting the thoughts right out of my mind and giving me from the question for me to answer them. Albinism is more than just skin color. Albinism is more than just the lack of melanin. There's a lot about it. You know, I think the main reason why sunscreen hasn't been taken seriously is because people don't understand how essential it is for us to have sunscreen. It's a need, it's not a want. It's not like we want to live the expensive life and show that we use sunscreen lotion. It's like
Mm,
we can't do without it. I can have the thickest Vaseline on my body, on my skin as possible, but that will not protect you from sunburn. That
Yeah.
will still endanger my life. My life is still in danger. Let me say, albinism is a rare condition actually, though it may seem common, but it's actually quite rare. It's a rare congenital disorder which causes little or no pigmentation in one's hair, eyes, and skin. So these three areas are all affected negatively by the albinism. And so it's more than just skin. In fact, even the eyes are terribly affected. My vision is bad. You find I don't respond well to light, both on with my skin and my eyes. I don't respond well to UV radiation on both areas as well. And let me say my balance isn't good as well. So it's there's a lot involved. There's a lot involved in albinism. In fact, my skin is quite delicate, very, very delicate, and the healing process is very slow. Some people with albinism end up having HPS, for example, which is Hermansky Padlock syndrome. And
Mhm.
this makes the skin quite delicate, quite fragile, and the healing process is delayed. So you find someone who gets a cut today, by maybe 3 days or so, the cut is gone. But for me, I can have it for a week plus. So it takes long.
Oh,
So
wow.
if people understood albinism more, I think more attention would be given to it. Let's see the product.
Yes, I want to see the product and the packaging.
Well, this is not the actual packaging, but just like a small sample of what I made.
Ah,
Hmm.
that is so cool. So what's the right package so people can know how to get it?
Well, I think it's best to just send you the image which you can clip on.
Oh, so I'll have everything in the for the marketing. This way people can know where to
Uh,
go and stuff. But one last question.
though,
How can we support you? How can people support you, your initiative, and where can they follow you? And um, do you have any contacts, social media handles?
yes, I do. Though I think I'll have to establish one for my brand specifically, but I use my actual name, Mwape Chimpampa, on all socials. Or that's Instagram mainly, on Facebook as well. So yeah. But at the moment, I don't have one for my actual brand, but that's my personal account. So I do update people on the progress I'm making. Let's say people who have supported me, they say that this year as well. I do update that on the same page. Though at the moment, my product is not yet for sale. It's not yet ready for distribution or for the public to have,
Got
but
it.
soon, hopefully by the end of this year. I want it to be as perfect as possible by the time it reaches the shelves. So, as I mentioned, I want to develop the shelf life and
Hmm.
make the SPF higher. Mhm.
Got it. So
Yeah.
but even if you are still in the finishing out the final touches, how can we support you?
In terms of support. Hmm. On that one, there's some people who have been trying to contact me. They've tried a lot. Though I would advise them to first go through my school administration, if that's so. Navoye Secondary School is where I'm learning in Kafiwe. And if that's not the case, then you can contact the ZRDC as well, Zambia Education Development Center. Yes, they have been helping me with my innovation. And probably Albinism Foundation of Zambia as well. Though usually they get personal information from there, though I would advise them to go through the my school or the community, the religious community itself, because that's where I usually channel my interviews like this, for example, too. So best go through that program.
Okay. I mean, well, any links that you want us to share, you could share those links, but I'll also have your social media space in the show notes so people can just click away, follow you, support your journey. And when
Thank you.
the sunscreen is up for sale, I mean, we hope we all run to the shelves and, grab some. Listen, I've learned a lot sitting here with you and understanding how important sunscreen is. We do take for granted the use of sunscreen, and I'm so glad you're a voice for a lot of people and for all of us and how to really take care of ourselves. Um, Listen, I can talk to you forever. You are such an inspiration. It was such an honor to have you here. And oh, listen, I'm so glad you did not give your key to someone else and you took it, you took the driver's seat and drove, and you are making such a difference in so many people's lives. And thank you for making time for us and inspiring us with your story.
I really enjoyed the conversation. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you. Thank you so much.